Hello, my name is Clemens. I'm the CTO of Persival, and today I'm going to show you how to create ASAM OpenDRIVE and ASAM OpenSCENARIO files using an open source tool. In my last tutorial, I gave an introduction to the ASAM OpenX standards, two of which are OpenDRIVE and OpenSCENARIO. And we looked at an example from ESMini, the open source scenario player. But today we're going to create these files from scratch of our own. There are several commercial solutions out there for creating OpenDRIVE and OpenSCENARIO files, but there's also an open source tool that I'm going to show you today. And this open source tool is actually an add-on for Blender. Blender is an open source and freely to use 3D modeling software, and that's actually widely used. And the Blender driving scenario creator is an open source add-on for that. You can find that on GitHub. To use it, you can follow the README to install it and get it into your local Blender version. And once you've done that, I'll actually switch to Blender right now. Once you've done that, pressing N, you can activate this side menu here. And you will see the driving scenario creator right here with a lot of different options. For starters, let's start with a straight road. So you can click here and this section will open where you can parameterize your road. And as you remember, in OpenDRIVE, a road consists of different lanes, and you can set the lane types here. If it's a border, we have driving lanes, stopping lanes. Lane has certain width. You can define the lane markings, dividing the lanes, and so on. You can do all of that here. There are also a lot of presets here for standard road types. We will stick to the default type here, which is just 2 lanes. And what you can do now is select where your road should start. And you can just drag it here and put it in a certain orientation that you want. Let's put it like that. And simple as that, we have our road section with 2 driving lanes and a border. You can also use other road types here. Let's put an arc to it, like that. And maybe to make it more interesting, we could also add a junction, just add a couple more roads here, so I make it kind of this Y shape. And then we can have a junction area between now these 3 roads. So we'll select generic junction area, and we click on the ends of the roads that we want to connect. So this one, and this one. Hit enter and you get this area. That's just a connection area of these 3 roads. It doesn't connect the lanes yet. For that we have the junction connecting, and here we can connect individual lanes. So we can say from this lane, coming from this lane, we could go right. But covering this lane, we maybe can also go to the left one. And then you can draw further connections between the lanes, like that. And that's our very first simple road layout. So basically 3 roads, we have the lanes and a connecting intersection. What we can now also do is place some cars. So this is the OpenDRIVE part. And now let's go to the OpenSCENARIO part. And we can have a couple of cars here. We can set an initial speed, you can set a color, and you can simply place them here on the road. Let's just place a couple of them. Maybe change the color, the blue car, and place that here in the opposite direction, and maybe also one here. You could also define different trajectories of the cars. We could put in pedestrians here, but let's leave it as simple, just a couple of cars on this defined road network with an initial speed. And that's our scenario. And now you can click on the Export Driving Scenario button. And let's actually go into my test folder here and put it there. And if you go into that folder, now we can see it automatically creates 4 subfolders. And they are the same as an ES-Mini. So it's the same folder layout as I showed in my last tutorial. And here you can see the OpenSCENARIO file. If we open that up, you will see we have 4 cars defined that are in the vehicle catalog, as explained before. And they have their initial position. So there are at a certain position, and they have a certain orientation, and they have a speed action to set the initial speed, and that's done for all the objects. Then we have our OpenDRIVE, so the road network that we defined, and you can see that here. So we have the different roads. So one road is here, there's the next road, and they all have their different lanes that we defined, so 2 driving lanes, and that all you can see here. But as last time, we can also visualize it. If we open the OpenDRIVE we just created here, we see the layout. Those are our 3 roads here. Let me orientate it in the way that it was in Blender. So we have this road here, we have the junction with the lane connections, and the 2 roads up here. So now that we have our OpenDRIVE and our OpenSCENARIO, we can simulate that. So let me copy the path to the OpenSCENARIO and open the project from last time. So this was the project in the AVL Scenario Simulator that we created in the very first tutorial. And now we can just swap out the path to the OpenSCENARIO for the one we just created and run the simulation. And then let's see what happens. Here we have it. We have the different cars, the blue ones, the red ones, going through that scenario. And that's it. That's the definition of a road layout of different vehicles driving over it. Maybe I can play this again. Just so you can see, here we have it, the different cars on the road driving along the lanes with the initial speed that we set. Of course, you can define way more complex road networks, more complex scenarios with it, but this is just an introduction to get you started. So if you have any more questions about how to create an open scenario or how to create an OpenDRIVE, feel free to leave a comment below. And stay tuned for the next tutorial. There I will go more into detail of the open simulation interface, ASAM OSI. So how different models in a co-simulation actually talk to each other, what the interface between them. So stay tuned for that and see you next time.